Say it with me. Football Friday. Say it with me. Football Friday with me, baby. You got it, man. That is a Football Friday. Football Friday. God dang, that resonates. Finally, some ball. I don't care what that thing looked like last night. 34-7 Lions. I mean, I would have expected a better effort. But again, I get it, 2s and 3s, but shit. If you're Dan Campbell, you don't come out of that game feeling pretty good about your unit and about your backups, which you're going to need because obviously you needed them a year ago. And I tell people all the time, exhibition football, dude, that's where your war of attrition is won, is your backups. You need those dudes to win a Super Bowl. Look at the Eagles last year. The most significant backups were who? You had Fred Johnson, you had Oren Burks, and you had Isaiah Rodgers. Those three guys were instrumental in you winning a Super Bowl. Why? Anytime you had a guy step out, you had a guy step in and then step up. I mean, Trump has appointed Saquon Barkley as one of the 5 NFL players who was served the newly President's Council on Sports Fitness. By the way, do I have that up? I do not have that up. Oh, my God. I'm a 5-time winner of that. I'm a 5-time winner of that thing. That's pretty cool. I was awarded those patches by the president himself. Nixon and Ford gave me my patches. I'm one of the very few guys, Sig, that's a 5-time winner on that thing. The presidential fitness and the patch, I won 5 of those guys. Let's see if I'm going to bring that up, man. That's pretty dope. That committee means a lot to me. It does, man. That means a lot to me. Yeah, I was awarded that by the President of the United States. Seriously, when I was a little tiny kid, this is crazy. Watch this. Big cells. Big cells. President's patch. President patch. So here it is. Let me go here. That's pretty dope. Way to go, Saquon. I freaking love that, man. Let's see here. Big cells. Dan Sileo. Hey, man, I love that. By the way, Herschel Walker, I saw Lawrence Taylor on that thing. Dan Sileo. Yeah, that guy. Okay, here's one of them. Big Sills. Okay, let's see here. If I got the letter from the president and from the council. Pretty damn dope, man. That's really cool for Saquon. Yeah, I got a great letter from the presidents, from Nixon and from Gerald Ford. Dan Sileo, Presidential Fitness Award. Presidential Fitness Award. By the way, thank you, Sig, for the super chat. Fitness Award. So let me see here. Okay, here's the letter. Okay, here's the letter here that I got from the president. And it says here, check this out. The President's Council of Physical Fitness congratulates you on earning the presidential patch 4 years in a row, my bad, from 73 to 76, a true accomplishment of only a handful of people in the country have ever done. Let's see like this. We hope you are pleased with the letter and the plaque. And there you have it. It's damn good council to be on, man. Big Sills won that thing 4 times. Consecutive years, too. How you doing? Yeah, but now, man, I can't jump over a stack of quarters. Holy cow. Unbelievable. Get this. Hold on. Fitness doesn't go with Sills. He doesn't know about that. I'm 60 years old, dickbag. Okay? I choose to be retired now. When I was Big Sills, nobody in the fucking country could hang with yours truly. Nobody. 298, 48. How you doing? Nobody. Holding records to this day that still stand. Hey, Texas, boy, you better go back to Jerry's world. You're in the land of 5 wins. Sorry to tell you, kid. You're in the land of 5 wins. Okay. Let's move on. Now, wait a minute here. Let me start. You know, I didn't get an email from my dude, so I'm going to do something today that I rarely do. I'm going to read ESP today. I'm going to read ESP. Hey, by the way, Kyle, did I miss your super chat? If I did, I apologize. Big Sills, don't call us the Blue Tank Gang today, please. How you doing? Xander, did I miss Kyle's super chat? Super chats go to the top, by the way. Please hit that damn like button. Sills, I don't know who to insult more, Jalen Hurts for turning the ball over or Keely Burnt Ringo. Holy shit. Holy cow, it's bingo. I don't know where to start. This is going to be a great day. So is Jalen Hurts struggling in camp? Damn. Nah, it's camp. Fuck it. Can't be struggling in camp. You know, they're working on stuff. They're working on the passing game. By the way, you know who the star was today? Saquon Barkley. Some people don't think they run the ball in camp. Well, they did today. Okay? And Barkley was a superstar. So let me read a little bit of this. You know, my guy didn't text me his usual notes. So I got to go with someone else on what they saw today. So wait a minute here. So let's go by a guy who was there. I don't have a problem doing that. I'll do it every occasionally. Guy was there. Eyeballs on camp. So Elliott Spitzer, Shore Parks, whomever. The star on Friday was Saquon Barkley. Touched the ball 14 times, 2 touchdowns. The energy in the offense that had been lacking the last few practices was back because of Saquon Barkley. Way to go, Bark. That's my boy right there, man. That's how you get that freaking thing done. Saquon Barkley was the star of the day. Absolutely. So I tell you what I'm going to do here, because, you know, it's a focus. Let me see what a guy who was at the practice said about your Philadelphia Eagles. Fair enough? This won't be my eyeballs or me interpreting what the guy sends me, particular cliff notes. So what we'll go by what someone else's eyes saw at practice. Is that cool? All right. So let's take a look. Day 7, Elliott Spitzer, Shore Parks. Saquon and the running game was the story of the day. What a shocker. But in the passing game, the Eagles didn't get much going in the long, intense practices that saw Hurts on the field nearly 50 reps. What? The run game was excelling and the passing game was stalling. Okay. Interesting. Let's read on, shall we? Okay. Hurts' best pass of the day. I'm reading from the guy here that was there, not me. I'm just trying to get some intel here. Hurts' best pass of the day was a touchdown wheel route on the opening drive of the day. Shipley beat Jahad Campbell from the 20 yards out, and Hurts hit him in stride right down the sidelines like you were in the Super Bowl. First team offense. Wait a minute. They ran the ball a ton on the next 2 drives. Really? Okay, so the first practice, they created a situation where the Eagles could be in base. Okay. With Barkley shining and getting into the end zone. So they ran the ball, which they haven't been running the ball, as we said yesterday. Hurts did have a third down throw into the red zone with chances for a touchdown, but both fell incomplete. It didn't seem anyone was open, but one pass nearly was picked off. Hurts also had a ball knocked down out of his hand at one point, which ended the series. Man, what is happening with trying to create balance? Huh? This is becoming unbelievable. So your inside source is Twitter. We all know it. Hey, Prince, I don't give a fuck what you believe. I don't have to prove shit to you, bro. If you don't think I know Clint Hurt, then I don't care. That's a you thing, bro. I've known Clint Hurt since he was 16 years old. Do you know that? Or what? When he went to Miami and they were asking me to help recruit him, which I did. That's a lie too, right? Okay. Yeah. Sure. And that's why all the people that come on the program, the biggest names in sports come on the program, because we lie. Yeah, okay, dude. Whatever. Prince, you can believe whoever you want. I don't really care. Okay? And I'm not doing anything here but reading Elliot Spitzer Shore Parks. Okay? So let's continue. Wow. Almost picked off, dropped balls on the ground. Jesus, as Lombardi would say, what the hell is going on around here? Well, the offense did move the ball at times. It ended when they went to the passing game like a dud. Huh. Focus. Let's continue. In a situational drill, situational play calling. What is going on here at camp? In a situational drill to end practice, the offense got the ball with 1 minute to go. One timeout and the ball on the 25-yard line. Hurts got the drill started with 4 straight completions, but the drive stalled with 3 straight incompletions. Damn! What's up? Then, pass was broken up. Another pass to Dotson was a good throw, but was dropped. It was a solid practice for Hurts. He gave him a C+. The day before was a D-. Sounds to me like Jalen Hurts is humming. D-, C+, according to your boy who covers your football team, Elliot Spitzer Shore Parks. Congratulations to you. It is all good. Okay. Hey, well, let me get to the topic here. Any concern? We went from focus. Let's ask the word. What's your takeaway on the first, on day 7 of the passing team and the offense? By the way, I'll make another point to you. After I get your, not concerned, right? I mean, there's job openings all over that defense right now. How are you struggling? You see the news? Parsons wants out of Dallas. Great. You know what I would do? I'd send him to the Jets. How many people have concerns? Seals, I'm worried of the current quarterback play. Hurts has looked unprepared and pedestrian. Man, we got to really take a long look at Tan Man. Come on, Pump. We're not going there. Parsons officially requested a trade. We'll talk about that. Let me guess. Eagle fans think they'll trade Parsons to the Eagles. Yeah, that's what Jerry would do. Seriously, I would commit Jerry to an insane asylum or an old folks home if that happened. How about this? Anybody with concerns. Quarterback has been, according to others, a D- and a C. What is a D+ and a C+ or something? I don't know. Man. So get this. What I like about this, here's Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Saquon Barkley was just a star today. Brought energy to the offense that lacked it in the last few practices. It's hard for a running back to shine in a practice, but this guy is clearly the man who brought energy to the offensive football team. Man! Woo! God forbid. There you go. Face of the offense. Runs through that dude that's in the backfield. Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Man, I don't know what to say. These aren't my words. No concern. Okay, no concern. Not a problem. August 1st. We got the book going. No concern. All right. Offensive passing game sucked last year, but it's all right. Roseman about to pull a Don Corleone on Jerry's ass. That would be remarkable. Hey, Hurts is different. That can run. How about this? Eagles would take the Cowboys' leftovers like when they got DeMarco Murray. Bro, I don't know how you talk in this room. I have no idea how you could even have a straight face when you say anything. I mean, that organization is a championship organization. You know what you are? You're like a UFL team. You're a UFL team. Could you beat the Birmingham Stallions, you think? I question that. If you could even beat the Birmingham Stallions. Beat the Eagles? I don't think so. Beat the Birmingham Stallions? Maybe. I don't see it. What are you talking about? DeMarco Murray. And then guess what this guy will do? They'll sign a relic last year. And Zeke, I have nothing left, Elliott. And sit there and try to fucking tell the Eagle fans that they whiffed on DeMarco Murray. Maybe you did. 5 Super Bowls? Bro, when the greatest part of your history is in the rearview mirror, and you keep talking about rearview mirror shit, you fucking are nobody. And plus the Cowboys, every one of those Super Bowls were won in pre-cap era. Except one of them. You have one Super Bowl in the cap era. One. What are you talking about? All that shit was done prior to having a salary cap. It's a completely different NFL. Today, harder to build a team, harder to keep a team. This guy's talking to me about shit that happened 50, 60 years ago. You gotta be kidding me, dude. I mean, hey, DeMarco Murray is your go-to? How about, okay, get this. Who did you go after last year for running back in Dallas? You had your choice. Barkley, Henry, Aaron Jones, or Josh Jacobs. Who the fuck did you go after a year ago? You know what the answer is? Nobody. Zeke. You signed Zeke instead of one of those other guys. And what are you talking about with your Skeletor owner? Dude, you're embarrassed. How about this? Hoss, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. The purpose of practice is to install and make mistakes. Also evaluate and promote. You're missing that. In Philadelphia, appreciate the super chat. You missed the two most important. To evaluate and elevate. You get your starters out of practice. You figure out who the players you're going to start in September with, because you don't use the exhibition season because you're afraid of getting guys hurt, and it's worked. Okay? So you forgot the two most important. Install, yes. Make mistakes, yes. Elevate players to first and second team, yes. To figure out who the starters are going to be, yes. It's happening right in front of your eyes right now. You missed the two most important ones. Here, I got to read this guy because I want to show you how embarrassing this guy is. By the way, I appreciate him being in here. Seals, what does my shit have to do with fucking your team blowing? Answer this. Look at what he writes me. Seals, what have you won in the NFL? You were trash, no Super Bowl or Hall of Fame. What a joke. Okay. I can name you 25,000 men that are the same as me. There's only 320 men in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Congratulations. Better players than me? Okay. Thank you. 110 years of football. You're right. I didn't win. I didn't have a Hall of Fame career. I had a career. Did you? Okay. How much elevation is happening on offense? There's very few jobs open. There's only one job open. That's the right guard position. There's jobs all over the place that are open on defense. Okay? How could Micah Parsons have a no trade clause in his contract? How could he? When he signed a rookie deal. Okay, how could he? How? Dak has a no trade. Dude, I don't know where Texas guys coming from. You're right. Dude, I'm critical to the Eagles because they're this close. I'm critical on the Cowboys because you're this far away. Like, you're not even remotely close. Sills, Nick should talk with Jimmy Johnson on clock management. He was the best. Tougher schedule or produce closer games besides turnovers and clock management. Well, next biggest priority. That could be. Absolutely. Super chats go to the top. Thank you guys so much on a Football Friday. When idiots got nothing intellectual to say, they get personal. Texas boy, you're Texas toast. How you doing? Way to go, Mikey. Yeah, dropping the how you doing. Well constructed. Hey, Mikey, to give you a good one, let me say this to you, brother. Anytime you can put a good super chat together that Big Sills can read flawlessly, you know you did your job. When I'm stumbling away over shit, you know I'm not good at it, right? When he puts together a good one, when idiots got nothing intellectual to say, they get personal. Texas boy, you're Texas toast. How you doing? Even I can read that. Thank you very much, Mikey. Made it easy for Big Sills there. So, man, Jalen Hurts and the offense is officially on August 1st struggling. Damn. Or wait, the passing game is struggling. August 1st, the passing game is officially struggling. Let's see. I'm going to finish it. If this plays out in the first 4 games of the season. 4 games of the season. Okay. Got a book here now I'm keeping notes on. How you doing? Okay. How many people believe Jalen Hurts is struggling right now? That book doesn't compare to Big Z's book of Revelations. Okay, get this. Oh, I'm feeling awful good about Keely Bingo, especially after what we heard today. Oh, yeah, Keely Bingo. Woo! Eli Ricks. Man, who? I told you Eli Ricks would make the team yesterday. I said, Xander goes, you think he makes the team? I go, I do. I do think he makes the team. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ty Robinson here in a second. Parsons requested out of Dallas. We'll get there. By the way, this just in. Kansas City Chiefs have kind of thrown a cannonball across the bow of the Washington Commanders about the availability of Terry McLaurin. Just so you put that in your hat there. Terry McLaurin and Patrick Mahomes, how would that look? By the way, I heard Xander and John talking about Devontae Smith again. Devontae Smith goes against the second best corners in the game. He's in the two-hole. He doesn't go against the number one wide receivers, and McLaurin had shit quarterbacks. And he takes on the best corners on every single team that he plays. And even Michael Irvin said it. The guy's one of the top 10 wideouts in the game. It's great to have people say that about Devontae, and I think Devontae's a great player. But he's in a completely different role. You don't know when that guy would be put in a number one role. If that guy, you think that guy would have the same impact that A.J. Brown has? If A.J., God forbid, got hurt, do you think he would deliver the same and have the same impact as I don't? I do not. There's games I've seen where I didn't even know he was on the field because of AJ. You put Terry McLaurin in Kansas City with Mahomes, you think that elevates his game? That would elevate Jalen Reagor's game. Hurts never struggles. Only thing he does is win. There you go. He's working on stuff, though, right? I got it. Dallas Cowboys are as been like Pfizer Radio Shack, MySpace, and the list goes on. Had Pfizer. That's right. Mr. Pfizer in Kansas City. That'd be a great offense, man, having Terry McLaurin in Kansas City. Kansas City can have him. I'm not worried. I heard Parsons on the podcast say if Dallas won't re-sign him, he would want to go to Kansas City. Can't beat him, join him. Kansas City doesn't need Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is an overrated football player. No, I'll take that back. Micah Parsons is an overhyped football player. So let's give you our take on it. Parsons wants out. Well, why would Parsons want out? Because the Cowboys don't want to pay him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. If I was Jerry, remember, hold on for a second. It's funny. When Big Sil says something here, people just steal it and kind of craft it and make it their own. There's your next Herschel Walker trade. There's your next Herschel Walker trade. On the way out the door, Jerry Jones should send that guy to a place where he could get multiple draft picks and start rebuilding his football team on the way out the door. One guy's not going to help Dallas. Dallas needs O-line. Dallas needs D tackles. Dallas needs linebackers. Make it a Herschel Walker deal. Get this. Go look at Micah's number. He's been pretty fucking good, Sills. And since he's been in Dallas, the average ranking for a total defense in Dallas has been 19th. He's Trey Hendrickson, right? Crowley. He's Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was on the 28th ranked defense last year. He has 17 and a half sacks. Right? Okay. Well, wow, he had great numbers on the 28th ranked defense. Nolan Smith had more impact than Micah Parsons did a year ago on his defense. How many people would agree with that? That last year, Nolan Smith had more impact than Micah Parsons did on his defense. Who would agree with that? Seals, there's a growing rift between Vic and Howie over personnel decisions. How? No. Funny. I asked that. Watch this. This will be, no. Myles Garrett 2 years ago had the number 1 ranked defense in pro football. He can't help it that the offense and the organization can't build an offense. He made his impact. Prince, he's on the number 1 ranked defense with Jim Schwartz. I mean, Jesus Christ, what do you want him to do? Throw the ball? He was on the number 1 ranked defense. Okay? A rift between Vic and Howie. The hits just keep coming. I'm going to be solid gold this year. I'm going to be platinum by November. Holy cow. The book of Sills. The book of truth. Holy. That's it. The book of truth. Justice and the American way. Big Sills. Wow. This is going to be a great one. Okay? Right. You tell me. So, yeah, is there a rift between Vic and Howie? So first we got this. Hurts on August 1st is struggling, but we'll see if that plays out in the first 4 weeks. Is that fair? Because then again, like last year, the ball didn't hit the ground. Okay? The ball didn't hit the ground. So, before I get to Vic and Howie, I'm going to put something on the piece of paper here for you, and you tell me if you go for it. Hold on, this is about Parsons. Okay. How many people in here would have an interest in Micah Parsons coming to Philadelphia? Yeah, I spelled your mom's name right. I got it. Thanks. Hey, how many people would like Micah Parsons to be in Philly? Okay. Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship, and Tyler Steen. Or Jordan Davis instead of Steen. Would you do it? And don't come up with some fucking lame-ass trade. Sending Kenyon Green and whom else? Some bum. Either that or it's 3 1s or 2 1s and a 3 for him. You to get a guy like that, you're not going to go and give him with some bullshit second team guys like Keely Ringo. And you got to pay $41 million. How are you going to pay $41 million when you got homie on the horizon with Jalen Carter. Now, you could put that 50-year option in there and you could work the cap like they did with Devontae. Sills, it's a concern our offense because our head coach and OC are going to be our Achilles heel, but our run game is our saving grace. They were stars today, too. Thanks for the super. Running game, as always. Back to their true grit. Running the ball. Parsons makes our edges look like school kids. Why? Those edges won the Super Bowl. Micah Parsons makes your team better? No, it doesn't. You didn't need Micah Parsons. You needed quality edge guys who could set the edge, not rush the passer. You didn't have one guy with 9 sacks last year. And you got to tell me you need a guy like that who refuses to play the run. He is a podcast whore. And on top of that, he doesn't give a shit about his teammates. He cares more about his brand. That's who you want in the clubhouse? Really? Okay. Well, if you want him in the clubhouse, you got to give something up. How about Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt? Pick one. Who are you gonna put in the trade? Reed also, maybe? They need a safety. Tyler Steen or Jordan Davis? You're going to have to give something like that up for the guy. You think you're just going to go like this? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you Trevor Keegan, Thomas Booker, and Jeremiah Trotter. Of course, that's a Philly trade. That would be a Philly trade. Get this. Hey, Texas guy, his team is doing so fucking good, his top star on the team wants out. What's that tell you? I don't hear Jalen Carter going, I've got to get the hell out of here. They need him now, the way you're calling out Eagle players. Not calling anybody out. I don't believe that they have enough experience at certain positions. I have never once said that that player sucks or that player sucks. I've not said that. I'd rather trade for secondary help. I'm not trading inside my division. Micah Parsons to the Giants so that they can have the 2 Penn State guys. So that looks sexy. The 2 Penn State guys on each side. Man, come on, guys. Here. Hey, Nick. What impact has Parsons had on defense? Let's take a look at that. They were last almost in run defense. True. You put him on the Eagle defense. He's going to be better because you got better run stoppers. I just think he's overhyped. And here, you're going to pay 2 guys $41 million? Who goes on offense then? Nolan Smith, you paying him? Does that mean Reed's out? Look at Philly 500. Who would you rather have, Sills? Parsons or LeVar Arrington in his prime? Probably Parsons. Arrington was awful good. Arrington was awful good. He was. I'm far from an Eagles diehard. I could see it objectively just how insanely bad these other teams are compared to the Eagles in every facet. It's actually insane how much of a joke Washington and Dallas are. I don't think Washington's a joke. You know, it's funny. You know what you have with Eagle fans? Eagle fans call the Commanders old. And you could basically turn around and say this about your defense and say, well, you got a kindergarten defense in many positions. And we're going to get to those comments. You basically have a 3-man race in 2 positions right now. You're trying to replace one guy with 3 dudes. For Slay, you have a three-man race now. Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo, and I guess Cooper DeJean, or is it Mac McWilliams? You're trying to replace one guy, and you're doing it now with a three-man race. It's wide open. And at safety, you've got a three-man race there. So in your secondary, when everybody was telling me that it was going to be a seamless transition, safety and corner have now become a major concern. The offensive stuff with Hurts and shit, we got to wait and see because there's too much talent on that side of the ball. Ringo's getting his ass turned around in practice. This guy's getting his ass swatted. As a matter of fact, every day he loses a footing on that job at corner. That's a fact. You don't want to hear it. Every day he practices, he's losing in that battle at corner. And Vic does not want to put Adoree Jackson back there. Parsons quit too much. I'd rather have Hassan Reddick. I don't see any difference in the players. He's a better drop guy, Parsons, and he's a better tackler than Reddick. And I predict Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown will be under 1,000 yards because of Hurts. Not because of Hurts, because of Barkley. But I do not believe A.J. Brown. He's going to be under I don't believe A.J. Brown, if healthy, I don't believe he'll be under 1,300 yards. Dude, how about this? A.J. Brown steps on the field. He's already a 900-yard guy without even touching the ball. Without even touching the ball, it's a given he's going to get 900 yards. When he catches it, he's easily going to get between 500 to 600 more yards. I mean, he's automatic. He just stands on the field. He gets 900. I mean, he's become the best wideout in pro football, which is crazy how Tennessee missed that. Then again, you had Ryan Tannehill in the building. Okay? Seals, can't you move Campbell to edge and leave Bond in the middle? That's your Parsons. Here, well, we've been playing with that. Remember I told you? Why do you, guys, why do you think we do these exercises when I asked you who they were going to keep? Why do you think we do those exercises? Because that's what they're doing now in camp. The things that I talk about every day transpires 2 days later. Do you know why they're practicing Campbell outside and practicing some with Bond outside? Ojulari and Uche are going to be the only guys they keep. And the other two guys are going to be Campbell and Bond. Exactly what I said here. And you're going to free up 2 roster spots so that you can go longer in O-line and potentially secondary, either at safety or corner. Or maybe add an additional defensive tackle. Do you think we're just talking here? I'm telling you how they're constructing the team now. What do you think we did that exercise for? On how many guys are going to keep this year compared to what they did in 24? To me, why would you keep more O-line this year than you did a year ago? Here, let me put that out there. Why would you keep maybe 11 versus 9 like you did a year ago? Why would you do that? Why would you keep 3 more O-linemen this year compared to last year and maybe a third tight end? Why would you do that? A third tight end and 2 more O-linemen. Why would you do that? Anybody? Because the philosophy's changed in running the ball. A year ago, you guys were going into the season wanting to be a passing offense. Now, you're a run offense first. And now, by the way, I told you they were going to do this. That they were going to put Bond and Campbell outside, create those two in the rotation of edge to give you two more roster spots. They may keep another tight end because they're going to run the ball, or depending on what they do with that fullback. I'll tell you this. You're looking at three different dudes replacing Gardner Johnson. You got a three-man race there. Everything you guys said about CJ being replaced has blown up. It's not true. You're going into the second week of training camp, and you're going into your first week of your first exhibition. And instead of getting closer to the guy you think could start, you're getting further away by having more competition. That's playing out. That's not an opinion. There's no guy winning that position. Both of those. One thing has clearly started showing itself. You're going to need more depth on defensive line. You're going to need more depth. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And I'll tell you this, Moro Jomo, I don't believe he's going to be as good as Milton. However, I don't think that that's going to be an avalanche, like an avalanche coming where he's not going to be a productive guy out there. I want to see what his volume of reps does to him. Can he hold up? When you're in a secondary role, okay, and you're a substitute, that's a completely different role than being a guy going out there getting 1,000 snaps. It's a completely different role. Don't need to worry. I mean, don't need to win pretty. We win gritty. Okay? Run the ball. I have not said that that's not going to be the science and the recipe this year. They're working on the passing game, which has struggled. Let me ask you something here. Just before we get back to the three-man race at these two positions, that's turning out to be exactly like we said it would turn out to be. I thought the D-line might be in there too. Okay? I did. I thought the D-line would be in that conversation. Hit the like button, guys. By the way, you got a good mad scientist. He could probably still figure this thing out. Would you guys stop with the Parsons stuff? I mean, Micah Parsons to the Eagles? So where are you clearing the cap now? Who else are you going to get rid of if you're going to try to keep Micah Parsons? And if you trade for him, you're not looking for a rental and then putting him out in the open market, or are you? The Cowboys are going to want multiple first-round picks. And you got to pay him $40. He wants a trade because he's not getting Myles Garrett and TJ want money. You know what they probably did? They came in under. They came in under at 38, and they don't want to pay him the number. He thinks he's worth it. Okay, no problem thinking that. Dude, of all teams in the NFL, the Eagles don't need Micah Parsons. You proved that a year ago. Hey, let me ask you something. TJ Watt hasn't won one playoff game in his career in Pittsburgh. You want to go get a $41 million edge rusher and then have to get rid of Nolan Smith, not re-sign Reed Blankenship, clearly let go of Jordan Davis, just so you can have two $40 million a year guys? You become the Cowboys then. You cleared all that room for one guy, for Jalen Carter, How do you get this? How do you know Nolan Smith doesn't develop into a better pass rusher than Micah Parsons? How do you know that? How do you know that right now, the way he played at the end of the year? Are you willing to gamble with $40 million and players that have to be moved to make room for him? Is that what you want? I mean, that's a gamble, dude. Why not stay the course? No Christian Wilkins. He played well under Vic. That guy's going to command some money. You don't need that guy. You got two really good players, one exceptional. Dude, I mean, Parsons wants out, okay? First thing Eagles fans go, he always wanted to be an Eagle. Micah Parsons wants to be an Eagle because you guys were in the Super Bowl. He doesn't want to be an Eagle because he wants to be an Eagle. It would help his brand. Is Parsons more concerned about winning? I don't see it. Look, he's a really good player. John thinks he's Lawrence Taylor. Okay? John thinks he's LT. I happen to not think that. I mean, I don't see that. You tell me if you see Micah Parsons as this. And tell me if you think you see this. 10 Pro Bowls, 10 first-team All-Pros, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, one of them in his rookie year. Do you know Lawrence Taylor was the NFL's Rookie of the Year in his rookie year? And let me add this to the context. Lawrence Taylor was the most valuable player in the NFL. As a defensive football player, I got to think he's the last guy to do that. Can anybody else remember another guy since LT that was a defensive not defensive, was the league's MVP? Has there been anybody that has played defense, been the league's most valuable player? He was the National Football League's most valuable player. A 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. John sees that in him. I'm like, yeah, not me. Not me. I don't see that. And then you got to think about this. You got to rip your game plan up. He's not Kevin Green. I agree. If the Cowboys hold out, then Parsons will probably not play the full season. The way if the Eagles got cap space, depending on if Micah Parsons want to win, he'll probably sign a $20 million one. No way. $20 million? He'll take a $20 million haircut? Never happen. Why in the world would he want to do that? I mean, right? Guy was fucking insane. Here, get this. I'm sorry, I misspoke. 8 first-team All-Pros and 2 second teams All-Pro. So 8 first-team All-Pros, 2 second-team All-Pros, all of this in consecutive years, and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. And in one of those years, he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he was, get this, Lawrence Taylor won the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 81, and he won the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1981 in the same season, coming out of North Carolina. You see that, Micah Parsons? The first year in the NFL, Taylor was the best defensive player in the game. Did you hear me? The first year he played, Taylor was already the best defensive player in football. Sills, check this out, okay? If the Cowboys paid Parsons 43, 45, they would have $200 million tied up in 4 players while the Eagles have the entire offense close to that amount. Nails on. And there lies your difference and why the Eagles are running laps around the Cowboys. This is why the Cowboys are balking at signing him. They know this, Prince. Jerry must have fell on his head. They know this. If they sign Micah Parsons to that deal, I've been telling you guys, you mean to tell me you're going to make CeeDee Lamb the highest paid wideout, Dak the highest paid quarterback, and Parsons the highest paid edge rusher, defender in the league, and you're going to win 7 games? What's the point? What's the point? I mean, if you're the Eagles, you pray they sign him. You know, the smartest thing for the Cowboys to do is trade his ass. Trade him to Carolina. Here, who else? Who had the first? Trade him to Tennessee. Who's a team that's going to blow out loud next year? Tennessee, the Jets, New Orleans. I actually think Carolina's going to improve. Teams like that, where you can get equity and get draft picks back. Dude, every single time we get Cowboy news, and our show gets Cowboy news, if you're an Eagle fan, you really have to be laughing at them. Here, how about this? If you're the Cowboys, do you trade Micah Parsons to Jacksonville for draft picks and Travis Hunter? Hey, give me Travis Hunter and some draft picks, and I'll send you I'll send you Micah Parsons. Right? That move is not going to be cheap. If the Cowboys want to move him, you got to think high end. Like Neiman Marcus stuff. Not backup shit. And here's what makes it difficult for the Eagles. And the conversation with this. Sure you want him. Hey, get this. I drive by and I see a Ferrari shop. And I see one of those Dinos in there. And I go, man, I'll tell you what. Man, I'd love to have that ride. You know what, though? Big Sill settles for the Hummer. Okay? I'm good. I'm all right. Patriots are a good one, too. They got money. And they've got draft equity coming up in the next couple of years. Absolutely. I mean, Nick Bosa for Parsons? I'll stick with Bosa. Bosa plays the run. I think Bosa's a better player. Nick Bosa's a better player than Micah Parsons. He plays the run and he rushes the passer. Parsons rushes the passer and quits on everything else. He's a better ball player. He plays when he wants to. I think that guy evaporates in games. Okay? Terry McLaurin. With Dallas and Micah Parsons, to Washington for Terry McLaurin and draft picks. And would Washington do that? That kind of makes sense. That's a pretty good one, Sig. That kind of, and they have money. Sig, Washington. I've got to talk to Doug Williams. I've got to talk to Doug Williams. Wow. What do you make of that? I would not rather have Hendrickson's not a better ball player than Parsons. I think Trey Hendrickson's overrated. I think those sacks were stupid. 17 and a half sacks on the worst defense in pro football. Okay. Yeah. Well, still, he can't help he's on a bad team. Yeah, I know. But when you look at Trey Hendrickson and you watch Fred Johnson kick his ass, how do you feel about that? How do you feel when you watch Fred Johnson kick the shit out of him last year? Hold on here. Philly. How about Parsons going to Washington, Terry McLaurin, and Dallas gets a 3 and a 5 involved in the pick? How about them sending him to Washington? Wide receiver wants out. And they need an edge rusher. And then you get to see that guy. Well, you still get to see that guy twice anyway. He's in Dallas. Hey, if Dallas does this, they've waved the white flag. If they do this, they've waved the white flag. If they trade this guy. Am I wrong, Sales? Why would they trade for another wide receiver when they need corners, linemen? That would be awful, right? Well, you have Pickens. You have CD in the slot. They don't have two wideouts. They got a slot receiver and a Y. They would have Terry McLaurin. They would have CD Lamb. And then they would have George Pickens. And those three guys would be your offensive attack in Dallas, along with that Ferguson kid who they just extended. They should trade him and try to get two number ones. That's my take, Philly. My take would be try to get 2 1s, 3, and a 5, and try to build your football team up. And I happen to agree with Kimberly. I think they're in a rebuild. Look, Eagle fans, here's why this doesn't make sense. You've got a game plan you're on. Now, look, when that came out, do you think Howie Roseman is going to sit back and go, how could I make that work? And yeah, I think he does this. With Parsons, without Parsons. Is my team better with or without him? How does that affect the other guys that are coming up when it comes to free agency and extended contracts? Boy, now you see why. Hey, so just another one more question before we continue kicking this around. So next week, right? On Monday will be week 2 of training camp, right? Then we're going into the first exhibition game. So Reed Blankenship's contract is coming when? You guys have moved the sticks on me 4 times already. Let's move it for a 5th time. When's the contract coming? When's Reed Blankenship's contract coming? Okay. I was told it would be done at the end of the first week. Now we're going into week 2. So is that Monday it gets done? Or what? So do you want to kick the can? How about this? Do you guys want to kick the can to the first game of the season, first week of the season? Oh, well, wait a minute. Philly says week 8. Well, I was told that the deal was going to get done in the offseason. Then I was told it was going to get done post June 1. Then I was told it was going to be the first week of training camp. Now we're going into the second week of training camp. Philly's now saying week 8. What's the holdup? If you want the player, what's the holdup? What's the holdup with Reed? Maybe they got to spend money at a safety or a corner. Well, I heard people like John who said that this thing's a given. Well, and by the way, I'm not throwing shade on John. I've heard other people in Philadelphia say the deal's coming. And by the way, $15 million. Where is it? Philly, I'm just asking, why not? Why not now? Why not now? What's going to change in week 8? Are you still in a wait and see mode? Hey, Philly, if you wait till week 8, you're still in a wait and see mode on how the kid plays. If that's what you're doing. Am I right? You're still in a wait and see. No, I don't either. So let's get over to this one here. Are you disappointed or not disappointed that now you're further away from finding who's going to win the corner and the safety job? It's a 3-man race at each position. Going into camp, many people felt pretty good about Ringo and Makuba. That has shifted dramatically. Okay? That has shifted mightily. Are you more disappointed now? Because now it's an open competition. By the way, Adoree Jackson, doesn't seem that Vic is very high on that guy. Not concerned with safety? Why? Because Coop's going to play in base? Okay, so when they're in nickel, which is 70% of the time, who's the corner? Well, wait a minute, Philly. They don't play guys in the preseason. They don't play people in the preseason. And I'm not ripping them. What they've done has been right. I am not ripping them. No, not here. No way. You're not going to hear me doing this anymore. Hey, man, these guys have to play exhibition football. They're going to be sorry coming out of that's over with. They're too healthy. At the end of the year, Super Chats go to the top. Thank you, guys. We ran through the same thing in 23 after losing Epps and Gardner-Johnson, and it really affected the defense. Will that be a repeat in 23? I think you got a better coach now than what you had in 23. You had Patricia and Desai making decisions in the secondary. Now you've got Vic Fangio and Christian Parker making decisions in the secondary. Christian Parker's going to be a defensive coordinator one day, as is Bobby King and Clint Hurt again. Those guys are going to get big. I'm going to say this to you about your defensive coaching staff. Next year, if the Eagles have a great year and they turn this thing into remotely anything that looked like a year ago, every one of those guys are going to get opportunities, those assistant coaches, to become defensive coordinators somewhere. It's just too much talent and coaching on the Eagles right now in defense. It's the best staff in the NFL. The Eagles have the best coaching staff in the NFL on defense. Linebackers, D-line, coordinator, secondary. The edge guys even pretty good. Now they're working guys in like Campbell and Bond. It's really good, man. Those guys know their shit. Like nothing's going to go unturned. Safety, least important position on defense. Well, then, okay, so you're telling me that Cooper DeJean is the least most important player on the field, right? Is that your contention? What's funny, when Gardner Johnson hasn't been on your team, your defense looks like shit. When he's on your team, you're in the Super Bowl. No coincidence? Or just a coincidence? What is it? Every year that Gardner Johnson's been on the football team, he's got 12 picks in 2 years of play. You've won 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. And now you've got, get this, see this here? You got a 3-man race, and nobody's really looking good back there. It's one thing where all of a sudden Zach Bond started looking crazy great in camp, and Vic was commenting, everyone else was. Or like you have Campbell shining in camp. I don't see anybody talking about paper mache Makuba. Guy can't get through even fucking helmets and shorts. He's not worried. All right. You're confident. Get this. Prince is confident in a guy who can't get through helmets and shorts. Hey, for the record, Zach Bond's missed 3 straight days of practice. Probably nothing, too. You got him and Dean not there taking reps. All right. Get the younger guys some reps. I'm not being facetious here or sarcastic. I think that's not a bad thing. There's a silver lining in there. That means more reps for Trotter. That means more reps for Jahad Campbell. Okay? Munden, too. Could be a silver lining if you want to look at it that way. That's all right. I don't really need to stress Bond out, even though more responsibility is going to be given to him. Okay? Get this. See this thing here this guy just said? I'm just commenting on what you're doing. I'm not telling you who to fucking play. Did you hear me who I told you to play? At safety or corner? Where'd you hear me say that? I said you got a 3-man race going on at 2 secondary positions. Don't know what you're talking about, dude. As a matter of fact, I have no idea what you're even referencing. I didn't tell you who to fucking play. I'm telling you got a 3-man race back there. With 2 positions trying to fill. You're trying to fill Slay's spot with a 3-man race, and you're trying to fill Gardner Johnson's spot with a 3-man race. Tristan McCullum, Sidney Brown, and Makuba. Am I wrong? Am I miss something? And at corner, you got Mac Williams, Eli Ricks, and Keely Ringo. Adoree Jackson. Excuse me. Did I miss something? What are you talking about, Ethan? I'm not telling you who to play. Vic will figure that out. Once again, people like Ethan don't like to hear shit that's actually going on. I'm not telling you anything, sky's falling or nothing. I'm just reporting to you, you got open spots after week 1. No? You get this. When you go into training camp, okay? When you go into training camp, see, this is how you always know you win an argument. Where's this guy? What's he doing? Commenting on my shirt now? So, I mean, guy, really feminine. By the way, I've got no draws on. Does that excite you too? Jesus criminy. Where's the shirt around his house? What a fucking weirdo. Some of you guys, seriously, before you come in, do you know what you guys need to do? You need to show proof that you have a man card. Kimberly has a man card. Have to show your man card. It's like being carded at a bar to come on the Sileo show. Yeah, here's my man card. Kimberly shows her man card. Yeah, I'm ready to rock, Sills. Sue shows her man card. Ethan shows his biological dude card. Yeah, you're not wanted. I didn't mean. Hey, by the way, that gets you into the UPenn library, from what I understand. Hey, you could have one of those cards and UPenn will take you. You look better with the Jerome Brown jersey on. How you doing? I do dig that jersey. That's one of my favorite things back there, dog. Okay? Wow, calling Kimberly a man. No, she's actually got more balls than some of you guys in here. Oh, no, really? Calling Kimberly a man? Oh, boy, you belong on an ESPN show, guy. So you could sit there and go back and forth on how the world sucks and how I'll support a guy with a set of gouillons and then a chick in really great denim jeans. I'm going to call that immoral. Yeah, well, then I'm immoral. Because if you want me to support a guy with that cannoli in his pants, dressed as a chick versus that, you got me. Hey, I'm a racist. A chick in denim jeans versus a guy with a cannoli and swim shorts. I'm a racist. I admit it. Because if that's being racist, that girl in those jeans, then I'm all that. I agree. I'm sorry. I'm not working there with that. Holy cow. Right. Clip it. What a worm. You belong, seriously, you belong on CNN. Anus knees. Or on your knees. What's the name? On your knees. Clip it, says on your knees. Clip it. What a worm. Oh, my on to me. On your knees. Come on now, man. Let's see. Sills, none of these wimps wouldn't last until lunch on the roof with me. What a hardworking dude this guy is. Fitness roofer, man, you got all my love. Man, that's a hard-ass job. Now, hey, fitness. I did some roofs before. I had to put this silver shit on a roof one time. I had to take the roller and I don't know what the silver stuff was, but I had to do that, and I put that blacktop on. Holy God almighty. I did that in Chicago, believe that or not. And I did that with my stepmother's sister's husband, who's from Chicago. My God almighty, that was one of the toughest jobs I ever did in my life. Man, that's right. You got it, man. Roof work, that's some real, that's a man's job. You know how Moro Jomo goes, that's a man, NFL's a man's job. This dude up here, man, that's a man's job. That's a big-time gig, dog. Don't show up at the Shannon Sharp with the Shannon Sharp card. No, that means, Kyle, you'd have to have a black eye. You'd have to have a black eye and some chick punch you in the eye like Kimberly in here. Bam! How'd you get the black eye? Kim punched me in the eye. Where were you? Well, me, I'm at the Motel 6. He's at the Waldorf Astoria because, he's big money. I'm at the Motel 6 getting my eye punched in. And somehow that's sexy. I don't know. A chick kicking the shit out of you. I'm not thinking that's me. Okay? Prince, Sills, the reason I mentioned coincidence in 22 is that we had a great corner play last year which was similar with Slay and Q. Yes, CJ was here, but the corner play was excellent both times. What else, though, Prince? You had a great pass rush in 22. You had 70 sacks with high volume of hitting the quarterback, too, that year. So really, did you have great corner play, or were you getting to the quarterback at a sick rate? 70 sacks, massive volume of hitting the quarterback, 4 dudes over 10 sacks, and you had a guy who had 16 sacks and 70, and then the amount of pressures. I think that 2022 team in the secondary with Bradbury and Slay, not Slay so much, but Bradbury, I thought those numbers were jaded now because a year ago you were better. I didn't think you were better, but you were. You know why? You didn't have the volume of pass sacks that you had in 22, and they were better. They were better. Your jokes are better than your reading comprehension. Thank you, doctor. Quite an epiphany. And thank you for the super chat. Okay. Hey, what an epiphany. I mean, right? Sills, all players with contract problems are represented by Athletes First. The Eagles have 0 players from the agency. Odd? No way. What a pull. What a pull. That's a great pull by you. Good job, dude. No, that shit's not coincidence. No. All the players that guy signs in free agency, and you don't have one guy from that agency. Yeah, I do think there's something to that. Yeah, I mean, right? It's okay, Prince. I think it's funny too. Dang Bird Gang. All right. I mean, it is funny. I'm with you. Weapon. Here's my boy here. Seals, I like Rick's over Ringo. It's just personal. By the way, was that him talking today? Was that Eli Ricks talking today? Boy, I liked him at the mic. I had never seen him before. Was that Eli Ricks at the mic today? Who else was up there? Dory Jackson was up there. I liked him. And, I didn't realize that him and Adoree Jackson had that relationship. They're both LA guys. And I liked him. I liked the words he was saying. He goes, yeah. And he made some plays. Now, look, do I really think he's in the conversation? I think the 3 dudes right now, corner, are Mac, Keeley, and Adoree. At the safety spot, it's Makuba, Sidney, and Tristan McCullum. You got 6 dudes battling for 2 spots. You're further away from naming a starter than you were when you started camp, is my contention. Okay? That's been my story. Now, I will ask one thing here. I heard Xander and John talking this morning. What's your expectations on the offense this coming year? Like, just for shits and giggles. Where do you think the passing game and the run game should be ranked? I want to hear a number. With the number 1 wide receiver in pro football, Xander thinks that, but he's better than McLaurin, so you'd have to say he's the 7th best. the number one, the seventh best wideout, the best back in the game, and the fifth best quarterback in pro football. What do you think that should be ranked? And the best O-line in football. Where do you think that should be ranked? Top 7? Let me say it again. Eli Ricks played college ball at LSU and Bama. Whew. Man, I like that. Late to the party. You talking about Micah yet? Sorry. We'll get back there again. I'm with Sig. You got to be 1 or 2. You can't be fucking 8th. How can you be 8th when you got the best and the 7th best receivers on your team, the number 1 O-line, the top running back, and the top 5 quarterback, and you're fucking 8th? I mean, whoa, what are we talking here? 8th? Eighth. If you're out of the top 2 spots, something happened. Don't you agree? Wait, get this. I heard people saying this. Well, if we're just average in the passing game. What? You don't have average players to be average. So get this. Yeah, if we're just average in the passing game and we're number 1 in the run game, that's all right. You're like, wait a minute. You don't have average talent. That's what you're really compromising yourself to say? Wow. You have no expectations on your football team then. When you got that collection of talent and you're barking out, well, 8th will be all right. I mean, Jesus criminy, what are we talking here? How could you sit there and go that we don't have one of the most dominant passing and dominant running attacks when you got the best players in the NFL? So Eli Rick said that since Q's traveling and Vic is having other corners practice in different positions, could this be an advantage for them just in case someone were to go down? Vic did that shit last year. He also had Q member. He put Q in the nickel too sometimes last year. He had Q playing safety also. Why do you think Vic does that? Just for conversation here. Why do you think Vic does that? Puts guys and asks them to line up in certain positions. Why do you think he does that, Abe? It's a really smart coaching tool. Why do you think Vic plays guys in multiple positions in practice and wants to see him, wants to get a look at him? We should have the number 1 rushing attack with the 2 receivers tied in we have. We should be top 10 in receiving overall. Offense, top 5. All right, top 5. Here's what it does. When you play multiple positions in practice, it helps you in your position understand the guy lined up next to you, what his responsibilities are. Do you know what he's doing for Q and all these young players? He's teaching them everybody's responsibilities in the secondary. And the more you know about the players around you and their responsibilities, it helps you with your position. That's what it does. It helps you. Okay? So when you're playing guys, oh, he's doing this in this spot. Now I see. You see the game different. Whew, man. So let me get this one more time here from Elliot Spitzer Short Parks here. So I'm not reading this here. Hold on here. Let me see. Friday was okay. Saquon and the running game were the story of the day. They ran the ball. Shocking. But in the passing game, Eagles didn't do much. First team offense ran the ball a ton. Okay? Saquon was a star, man. Hurts did have a third down throw in the red zone with chances for a touchdown, but both fell incomplete. Wrote like a Hemingway line. Get this. Here's Elliott Spitzer, Shore Parks guy. Watch this. Look. Jalen Hurts dropped back. Had his eyes set on A.J. Brown. The pass was right there, but off the fingertips as he casually goes to the ground.